King of the Mischievous South Volume 2 is going to be dropping on July 19th, and I am really excited about this album for a few reasons. Because of this huge track list with a ton of guests. 2, because of this recent Mischievous On the Radar cypher he did that previewed 3 new songs and also had a ton of guests. And 3, everything that this is coming together to suggest how this album is going to sound. We're going to be breaking down all that and a little bit more. We even saw Zell, Kenny Beats, and JPEG Mafia in the studio recently. What's up, y'all? Devon here again for Obligatory, showing up for you weekly with a Friday music news recap. We have a handful of things to talk about, mostly new album announcements, but for me, none bigger than Denzel Curry. Just judging by the names and the types of songs you see here on this album, I think you get a good idea for what is really going on here. Now, if you couldn't already tell from looking at this group, this thing is going to be a Memphis experience. At least I think so. You know, Zell is from Florida, but he is a student of the game, and a number of his previous albums have celebrated Southern hip-hop traditions on a region-by-region basis. And that all starts for me with Kingpin Skinny Pimp supplying a series of interludes, including the intro and outro for this album. Now, I am far from an expert on Memphis trap music, but if you want to do the crash course on it, and I suggest you should before listening to this album, brush up on these artists: Kingpin Skinny Pimp, Tommy Wright III. Obviously, you can throw 3-6 Mafia, Project Pat in that mix as well, both of which are going to be on this album. The song Ultra Shit with Kenayada is a bit of a Raider Clan reunion, and it's one of the 3 songs that was previewed on this On the Radar cypher performance that they did. Now, if you don't already know, Raider Clan is kind of an early Odd Future, ASAP Mob era collective, most notably consisted with artists like Space Ghost Perp, and then in generations forward, Xavier Wolf, Slim Gorilla, and yes, Denzel Curry and Kenayada. And Ultra Shit is honestly pretty incredible and gets me excited about the potential for this album. Song number 2 in the cypher presumably is Hoodlums. This is the album's closer that features Play That Boy Zay, who did join Zell in the cypher, but also features ASAP Rocky, and we didn't yet get to hear what that verse will sound like on this, even though you can hear him. Then we got the single Hot One featuring Tia Corinne and ASAP Ferg. This one has a music video out for it. Everything I'm hearing from this so far sounds great, sounds exciting and fresh and fun. But again, I want to go back to this track list and this cast of guests really quickly because it is star-studded with great artists from pretty much all over the map. I can't help but notice the distinctly southern representation of this album, with a strong theme of the Florida, Texas, and Tennessee connection. On this album, we have Maxo Cream, Mike Dimes, Kenayada, and that Mexican out of Texas, who all have ties to the state. Also, I should mention, obviously, this is a sequel to King of the Mischievous South Volume 1, Underground Tape, 1996, a project that came out in 2012, very much in these Raider Clan days. And so you can see that Zell is going way, way back into his roots a little bit and back into the mixtape era to give this project really a very mixtapey feel. And if you haven't yet heard the tape, it's probably up here on YouTube, but Denzel also re-uploaded this to SoundCloud just a week ago, and you can listen to it there. What do you think about the single featuring ASAP Ferg and Tia Corinne? And of the 3 songs that were performed on the cypher, which one of those were your favorite? I thought they were all great, but mine was Ultra Shit. Oh, and I almost forgot. Denzel Curry, JPEG Mafia, Kenny Beats, all in the studio together, all been frequent collaborators with one another. Definitely not something we're going to hear on this album, but Peggy's still working on his album, so maybe we'll hear it there. Or Kenny Beats is always working on something, so maybe we hear it there. The only other big news I wanted to round up is just Kendrick Lamar stuff. I feel like a few different things came out this week that we could touch on for him. I would say maybe most notably, he's got a Juneteenth concert that's coming up. Pop Out, Ken and Friends is going to be performed in Inglewood. There's a lot of buzz around, him still dropping an album sometime soon, so maybe we will learn more on Juneteenth. From there, you might have also seen that Drake has removed all the Kendrick disses from his IG. I mean, they're still up on streaming platforms, so don't really know what that has to do with anything, but it's one more thing in the timeline of this beef. But the internet also caught wind of a reference track that Kendrick Lamar wrote for Baby Keem for the song Bullies, which was on his Die For My Bitch album. If you can find it, it's interesting. It's a little bit different and worth a listen if you're a big fan of the album or both the artists. And then Kendrick and a bunch of other people are going to be in this upcoming Lego film Piece by Piece, which is headlined by Pharrell. And then there's also Snoop and Jay-Z and more. But that's kind of the roundup for Kendrick Lamar this week. I would keep an ear out for album news from him. Again, there has been sustained buzz around an album, so maybe we learn more soon. And from there, I think we should just get right into new music and upcoming album announcements that I am excited about. This week was a pretty big one, and it could have been bigger because initially we thought that No Worries was going to be dropping their long-awaited album, Why Laud, today. You can purchase the physical albums, CDs, and vinyls today. Next week on the 14th, we're going to get the album on streaming. Even without that, we still got a Kaytranada album. We still got a Charlie XCX album. A lot of great singles dropped as well this week, but I think some of the best ones allude to albums that are coming out very soon or were just announced. So we'll move right into albums announced this week. And this week was full of really honestly interesting and exciting names. Some big, some just really cool. Of course, Megan Thee Stallion announced her new album, Megan Is Coming. Denzel Curry, we already talked about. Lil Yachty and James Blake, we already kind of covered that they were working on something together, but the news kind of fell silent from there, and then all of a sudden, it's coming out in a week. We got confirmation of the new Ice Spice album, Y2K. Jamie XX announced his first album in a long time, In Waves. Fax Gang and Parannoul, that's a pretty niche collaboration, but it's one that for a group of people is really, really damn exciting. So albums releasing next week. We mentioned Fax Gang and Parannoul. No Worries hit us with the bait and switch. Lil Yachty and James Blake, of course. And then stuff I've been mentioning, Fauna Hughes, Ravina, Don Toliver, Dante Thomas, Normani, the Normani album, finally. Rest of June, Kehlani, Yoral Drew, Hiatus Coyote, Previous Industries, that's a new group with Open Mike Eagle. Albums the rest of the year so far, I would say the big ones are Clairo, Denzel Curry, Porter Robinson, Raven Lene, and Jamie XX now all the way down the stretch. But that is the roundup for this week. It was kind of a short and sweet one, but honestly, quite a bit of really interesting stuff to talk about. If you're here with me at the end of this video, you rock. Clicking the like button genuinely does help us out. Dropping a comment every once in a while as well. And you better believe I will be back next week with another one of these roundups, and the week after that, and the week after that too. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.